Hey guys, this is Andrew TrueDraw, and I'm excited to present this particular episode because unlike the first episode that was about work experiences, this is about little TrueDraw when I was growing up. So, without further ado, I'm gonna let our sponsor talk.
Yes, I want you to know that you should not roll down your window if you see a water buffalo.
Why is that?
Because the water buffalo will put his head in and he will eat you and your entire family.
What? Me and my buddy, my best friend growing up, after school the bell had rang and he asked me,
Do you want to go with me and my aunt to see a show?
What happened was his sister, who just so happened to look exactly like him, only put a wig on him, she invited her friend, and then the aunt said,
Bradley, you can invite one of your friends.
So he invited me, and he's like,
You want to go to a show with me and my aunt?
and I'm like, what? That's kind of awkward. Is your aunt doing a jig or something?
No, I mean, do you want to go to see a show with us?
So we're driving. I have to mention this. His sister's friend looked exactly like Popeye. Anyways, that's just a side note. So I'm driving with Popeye and my good friend. We see this cheese factory sign, and we're like, oh, can we go? That sounds so good, because we were both like cheese addicts. It was like crack cocaine to us. And his aunt's like,
Well, I guess we have time. We can go to the cheese factory.
So we go in there, and she's really, how do I put this carefully? She's morbidly obese, so she doesn't walk much, so she just kind of sits in the van. Not even cheese could get her out. While we're going in to explore this cheese factory, there's like a big stupid mouse holding a big chunk of cheese or something in the entrance. And I'd say we were about 13 or 14 around this time, so we were little cheeky, mischievous dudes.
Dude, you gotta try this. It's so good.
And I try it, and I'm like, oh, that's the worst thing I've ever tasted. Turns out he tricked me into eating pickled garlic. And my mouth is like on fire. I'm like breathing out fire. And I just can't get the taste of nasty garlic out of my mouth. Well, the whole time we're kind of goofing off, there's this really, really creepy old man. He's got these beady little eyes. I know I say that a lot, but I mean, I've run into a lot of people with beady little eyes, and they're just piercing through our souls this whole time. They're like daggers stabbing into us, but, you know, we're tough, we're cheeky, so we just ignore him. He's probably like a 95-year-old man. Anyways, we start this party, and we take these little toothpicks, because it's about 5 feet of cheese, like coolers full of cheese, and we take these toothpicks, and we stick them in these microscopic little cheese pieces, probably the size of 2 ants, and we stab it, and we start eating away, going to town. I'm like, this is good, and then we pretend we're food critics, and we're kind of annoying the people behind us, because we've gone like 2 or 3 times through the line. I'm just like,
Oh yeah, this is very good cheese. I love it to death.
and then he has a terrible like English accent, so he's like,
This blueberry is really good.
and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, and we're just having a good time. So we go through about our 3rd time, like I said, and that's when this old man from across the room, who I told you about earlier, that was just like staring at us, is like,
Now this isn't a buffet, boys. Get out!
we're like, whoa. And, you know, being that young, teenage hormones and whatnot, we're a little cheeky and we think we're tough or whatever, so I yell back at him. I'm like, yeah, this is the worst buffet I've ever eaten at. There's no plates. And we're laughing. And then my friend, he says a real good one.
Yeah, this is the worst buffet I've ever eaten at. The cheese is so small and stupid I can't get filled up. I want my money back.
He's like,
Get out! Either buy the cheese or get out of here.
and so, of course, we don't have any money, so he was scaring us by then, and we ran past him as fast as we could. And then we told his aunt, she's like,
Well, boys will be boys, I suppose.
we were thinking of scenarios on the ride to the show, you know, about this old man. Like, he pulls out a shotgun.
Get out, boys!
When I was 12, you know, raging hormones, turning into a teenager, whatnot, my voice
Lowering.
I challenged my parents' authority a lot, like most people did. Well, I can't remember what we were fighting over, but me and my dad got into this really heated argument. My mom made a bunch of beautiful, perfectly deep-fried chimichangas and sat them on the table. And me and my dad were arguing. Things got a little heated, guys, and I'm not too proud of it, but I grabbed one of the burritos, the biggest burrito I could find, clutched in my hands, and I drew back, and I threw it. And unfortunately, my dad, being the size of Shrek, had super fast reflexes. He just ducked, and I threw this thing so hard, and it splattered all over my mom's beautiful white wall. And I'm like, oh crap. I didn't know that chimichangas exploded that beautifully. One part of me was mesmerized. I couldn't believe the beautiful artwork I had made on the wall. And the other part was like, oh crap, my parents are gonna kill me.
Why would you do that, son? Oh, son, if you keep this up, I'm giving you a spanking.
A spanking? Really? I'm freaking 12 years old. I'm a man. I don't need a spanking. So I grab another chimichanga and I throw it. This time it hits his shoulder. Boom! But it splatters all over the wall.
Honey, what's going on out there?
Nothing, dear.
And he throws his first chimichanga. Boom! All over my chest. It just splatters and drenches my chest. And once again, it's kind of like the wall. I was mesmerized. How did my dad throw it that accurately on my chest? And it just sprayed me like a freaking shotgun. All of a sudden, we're having this war of the chimichangas. It's like dodgeball, but with chimichangas going back and forth. And then my mom is like,
What is going on?
and she comes out in the kitchen.
Andrew, how could you do that to your father?
And he's spotless. He has nothing. You know, I mean, I guess I exploded it off his shoulder. But you look at me and I'm covered in chimichanga.
He started it. Andrew, how could you?
So I was left cleaning up the chimichanga mess while my dad was sitting there eating what few chimichangas we had left. So when I was a teenager, I'd say 15 or 16, we went on a family trip to the safari. It's like a zoo, an interactive zoo. And so we're all crammed in this tiny car. There's 6 of us piled in there because it's cheaper. My dad's like,
You know, you save money by having a small car because a big car costs more money.
and we're like, whatever, Dad, you weirdo. He always thinks he knows what he's talking about. Anyways, so we're driving down and it starts out nice and small. You have little animals, you have like little goats. And Mom's like,
Oh, they're so cute.
you know, feeding the goats. And you pet them. Little donkey, okay, it's not too bad. Well, the animals begin to get progressively bigger as you go down the trail. You got like a freaking giraffe, and my mom's like,
Okay, you guys, roll your window halfway. We don't want that thing coming in here.
so, you know, we're throwing food at them, petting some of them. And then we go down this curve, and there's water buffalo. And these things are massive, just huge, like the size of the car. Anyways, so my mom's like,
Oh, they're cute. Guys, don't be scared. Just roll the windows down.
so we roll the windows down all the way. And you're like, I'm like, I don't know. So I kind of keep mine halfway because these guys are big. Well, my mom starts feeding one that she thinks is just adorable. And, or I don't even think she was feeding him. She's just like, come here,
Come here. Come here.
thinking he's really cute. Even though it's a super butt ugly bison or whatever you call it, water buffalo. He puts his nose in, he's like, and he goes, like, just invites himself in this car. Like he wants to sit next to my dad, Richard. My mom's like, because he's, you know, coming in closer, and he opens up his gaping jaws, and it's literally like the movie Jaws, like that shark. He just, like, opens up this huge mouth. And my mom just scooted, she's like, Richard! And, I'm like, holy crap, this thing is taking over our car. And it's got this big, nasty purple tongue inside these two mouths. It's just, like, dripping saliva, and it's like, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, I got this. And so I grab a really big chunk of whatever the crap this crusty stuff is we've been feeding the animals. And I have pretty good accuracy. So, you know, outside, I was a martial artist, and I was really good at the throwing stars. So I'm like, I got this. I can save my mom's life. Because at this point,
Richard!
the tongue is about to touch her cheek. And she's just flipping out. She's scooted at, like, practically my dad's lap, and this thing is just taking over the car. I take that with my index finger and my thumb. I'm like, you only have one shot, Andrew. This thing is about to eat you and your whole family. I throw it, dead accuracy, straight past its mouth, right into its throat. Like, there's this big void, and I go right in that hole, the back of his throat. And he goes, and he backs up. He backs himself out of the car. And then my mom's like,
Go, Richard!
and we roll the windows up. And that was our safari trip. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. I went ahead and hired this supermodel to tell you the rest because honestly, she's more attractive than me, guys.
I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say. He said something about following his Twitter. Do I get the money now?
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for watching this video, and follow me on Twitter, where I put a crazy picture that you can caption. Thanks, guys.